Decisions. There are so many decisions that we make in our lifetime. Sometimes they're small, like what should I have for breakfast, or should I read my book now or look at my phone. But sometimes they're bigger decisions, like where should I work, or what school should I go to, or should I study, or what subjects should I take. This week I had to make some bigger lifetime decisions regarding my studying and what subjects I should take. And sometimes we come to the answer straight away and we just have that sense of peace and we know which is the right decision to make. But like me, sometimes we're a bit ambivalent and we don't actually know like which is right or which is wrong or which path we should take. And so in this video, we're going to be discussing some factors that influence our decision making, as well as some approaches and tools that help me in my process of discernment in making my decision.
I don't know what to study. There's so many choices.
What do you have for breakfast? Cornflakes or eggs?
I don't know which job offer to take. There's so many implications. I don't know what to choose or whether I should accept it.
Proverbs 16 verse 3, commit your actions to the Lord and your plans will succeed.
So, what are some factors and implications that influence our decision making? Well, the first one are our desires. Now, desires are good, they're God-given, and God places desires in our hearts. But sometimes we become the director of those desires. Rather, we should be in a place and in a posture of trust where we trust Jesus to outwork our desires. Trust Him that He will outplay them. And so the first one is desires that they influence our decision making. The second one is cultural norms. So security is so important to us as human beings, and often in decision making we seek security. We seek the decision that will bring and yield the most security. But actually, we will often look around at how other people are doing things, how other people are doing university or work, etc. And we feel this need to conform, and that's actually peer navigation. Rather, we need to be asking ourselves the question, am I engaging in a process of discernment where I'm really seeking what God wants me to do, rather than just fitting into cultural norms? The third thing that influences our decision making is worry and fear. And we often think, oh, I have to do this by the age of 30, or I have to do this before this, otherwise I've missed my chance. But actually, those are underlying judgments and fears that are determining our decision, rather than us going first to Jesus and to hear what He says. And so ways that we can combat these factors that influence our decision making are living in a posture of trust, trusting Jesus to outwork our desires, trusting Jesus that He is our place of security, and being present in the now and in what Jesus is doing now in this moment. So often when we're making a decision and we're presented with an opportunity that has quite a fine line between what could be the right choice, it's so helpful to engage in a process of discernment, in discerning which is right and wrong, and gathering your information, asking people for their advice, and then bringing that to Jesus and hearing from Jesus Himself, because He will speak to you. And often it's just where that peace lies, where you feel a peace. I often just go with that. And so I want to encourage you that don't skip this process of discernment. Often we jump right into it, but when we have that process of having discerned which is the right one, then later in the future, when we hit maybe a season of doubt as to whether we made the right decision in the first place, well, we would have that bedrock of having gone through the process and being reassured by our yes and by God's yes, that will actually help us in the future when we hit those times of doubt regarding our decision. So it's important to engage in those big life decisions with what God is saying, with the information that we have, and asking people's advice. So I found that really helpful. So don't be discouraged when you have to make decisions in life. We all have to make some form of decision in our lifetime, but it's not always about convenience and about jumping right into it. Actually, the process of discerning between what is right and wrong can really be a beautiful time of something being birthed inside of us. So it's not always about the convenience, but actually engaging with what God is saying in that process.